running in second place.
Oh, man, there he goes. Up the hill. Oh, bam, hard contact.
Several cars again involved. And this is the big one that we had hoped we would not have.
And Jeff Gordon is going to be racing back to the line, trying his best. He and Terry Labonte to stay in the lead lap as we see Dick Trickle the damage on his car.
All right, let's watch them as they come back now to the start-finish line. Right now, Gordon and Labonte are ahead of the leader of the race, Mike Skinner, and it looks as if they'll probably be able to stay there to the line.
Skinner can pass him. In fact, he's backed off now. He's not even going to attempt to, so that it gets slowed down before we get into turn one where the wreck was.
Mark Martin may have been involved in the crash. He's got damage, it looks like.
Yes, he was. We see the fenders rubbing the left rear tire.
So just when he was on the verge of picking up a significant, perhaps, amount of points, things go wrong for Mark Martin at Talladega, and there is smoke in the cockpit from the tire.
Yeah, apparently it's been hit on the right side and it's pushed that, looked like it's pushed the rear axle housing over.
Oh, look at the car.
Oh, he blows the tire.
He's spinning.
He blew the left rear tire as he goes down turn 3. Probably was running about 60 or 70 miles an hour. Is he going to be able to roll? Looks like the car is still rolling. Still running. We see the fire truck right there waiting to give Mark assistance if he needs it. What a big break for Jeff Gordon and a disappointing break for Mark Martin, all in a matter of seconds.
Yep.
Well, there were several cars involved. Let's take a look at what happened.
Was to the left of and that car goes up. And boom, along comes Trickle and just runs into the back of that car. There we see Mark Martin getting hit and spun. I think the 16 cars actually got into the 6 car and spun him. Let's see if we can tell from this. I still don't know who that car was along comes
he gets hit hard.
And other cars, there's Mark spinning in the back. There's another car spinning down. That's Benson, I think. The yellow car spinning down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, he collects Michael Waltrip. Meanwhile, pit stops. John Kernan.
Jimmy Spencer was over the line. He had to back the car.
At Talladega.
There we see Sterling Marlin gets in the back of someone, and I
think
still...
it's Ernie Irvin.
Yeah.
Ernie Irvin in the car number 36.
You're right, Ned.
And there comes Trickle along.
Now, we have seen Dick Trickle get out of the car and as being assisted to the ambulance. He did walk away, however, from Wally Dallenbach's perspective.
Look and see how Earnhardt might have got his damage. They check up and he gets hit from behind by Wally Dallenbach.
And now from Mark Martin on board.
That's sound you don't want to hear.
The 22 car of Ward Burton is rolling to us, or trying to get back to pits. He's got a couple of flat tires, Jerry.
Well, indeed, he does, and we are back behind the wall with the Valvoline crew trying to look at the crumpled remains of this Ford Taurus, and Mark Martin very, very frustrated. He has climbed out of the car and respectfully declined to talk to anyone. He's just absolutely heartbroken. You take a look at his face, and it almost makes you want to break down. I mean, he wanted this so badly. I grabbed Jimmy Finnick a moment ago to ask him, give me a rundown on what all is wrong, and Jimmy said, where do you want to start, Doc? Trailing arms, oil tank, track bar, body, rear end, you name it. We have a mess here. It's going to take us a long time to fix it. We also got a driver who's pretty beat up inside.
Well, very understandably, because Mark Martin was having such a great season. Now we're over the car of Ernie Irvin. We told you that Dick Trickle got out under his own power, was assisted to the ambulance. However, Ernie Irvin is still in his car. And we will continue to monitor the situation very, very closely, hoping for the best for Ernie Irvan, who took a very hard shot a couple of times in this big crash at Talladega. 136 was the one that we did not want to see.
See, as he went down into turn one, Sterling Marlin gets into the 36 car of Ernie Irvan. Ernie spins up high, and along comes Dick Trickle and hits him very hard. Mark Martin gets involved. Kevin LePage got some damage. Dale Earnhardt got some damage. And there's Ward Burton, also number 22.
Another angles. We see it from the inside camera. Ernie almost saved it, but he can't. The car goes around, and these cars all back up the fence. Boom! Bobby Hamilton barely able to get by. And there's Trickle hard in the side. And Mark Martin spins into the side of the spinning Ernie Irvan car. One more angle. And once again, they got to spin up the racetrack, and watch as Spencer barely gets by. Dale Jarrett barely gets by, but Trickle cannot. And here comes Mark Martin.
So Ernie took a hard shot from Dick Trickle and from Mark Martin. He is still in the car. We will have another update when we come back to Talladega Superspeedway.
Dick Trickle, are you all right?
Yeah, I've just hurt my feeling mostly. A little sore. I mean, it doesn't stop, definitely, but, you know, Heilig Myers Ford, you know, the guys did a great job. I mean, we had a top 10 car there, maybe even top 5, and, you know, we come from the back to the front pretty well, and, you know, we're just wrestling with them, you know, playing the draft. I don't know what started it, but there was a bunch of cars up front piled up, and I tried to turn low to miss them, but you can't turn very much on these tracks. And this another victim of an accident, as you know, as Michael Waltrip and Ward Burton, you know, we'll just run along there, and if a crash happens, it collects up an extra 10 guys or whatever. Yeah, unlucky one.
Dick Trickle out of it now, but the good news is he's okay. Let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch. Okay, they're trying to put the window net back up with Johnny Benson getting hooked up. JB, what was your viewpoint on what happened out there?
I'm not sure. Somebody spun. I thought I'd get away going down to the bottom, but I didn't make it. That's no doubt. But a bunch of guys got in, and it was just kind of a bad deal. I thought we were going to make it through today without having that big wreck, but I don't know.
We'll let you put your belts back on. They're going to try to get him back out. They've been working back here. His car is pointed nose to nose with the 6 car, the Valvoline car of Mark Martin. And for you Mark Martin fans, this crew is working as hard as they can. Jack Roush came back here a moment ago, walked around the corner and saw 2 of his 5 cars sitting 3 feet apart behind pit wall, and just sort of dropped his head down. He's got to be disappointed for both these drivers. And you see the work continuing underneath the 6 car. Jimmy Finnick there on his knees, orchestrating him, trying to get the trailing arm changed, trying to get the oil tank changed, the track bar. So much work to be done to try to get this 6 car back on the racetrack.
Just to get back and make a few more laps to pick up a few more points. Ernie Irvan, you can see, is being lifted very carefully out of his race car. The top of the car has been cut away. He's being put onto a backboard and then a stretcher, and will go to the infield care center.
Let's take another look at what happened. Ernie was running slower. They had just left him going into turn 1, and Sterling Marlin started to go under him, and Ernie, it looked like, tried to come down a little bit. Ernie, we had already documented that he had a brake problem, and so he was not running up to speed out there, and they lapped him going into turn 1, and he and Sterling Marlin got together, and then you see the result.
And once again, when these cars spin, as it gets sideways, the car continues straight ahead. Unfortunately, the racetrack goes around to the left. That's why the car continues up towards the fence. It's just going in a straight line. The racetrack is going around the corner.
You can see Ernie's car taking very hard shots there from both Trickle and from, oh, there's the impact that Trickle had. And then Mark Martin comes along and hits him hard too. So Ernie again is out of the car, and is apparently they're taking him right to the helicopter, where he will be air for further observation. Under caution here at Talladega, back in